It has been almost 3 weeks since South Africa raised the flag over the new Omicron variant, and African leaders have called the travel ban on some African countries discriminatory and unjust. Despite the Omicron variant being detected in over 40 countries, including the US and across Europe, similar travel bans are yet to be imposed against non-African countries. Some countries like the US, Saudi Arabia, and Canada recently added Nigeria to their COVID-19 red lists. However, with Nigeria applying the principle of reciprocity over the travel restrictions. This triggered the opening of diplomatic channels of interactions with the respective countries. Why were these countries too quick to impose travel bans on some African countries, including Nigeria? How effective will the federal government's stance of reciprocity be towards lifting the ban? These and more will form the crux of our discussion on this episode of Nigeria Today. Thank you for joining us. I am Lydia Odije Ochi. You're welcome. Joining me to speak on the issue via Zoom is the country director, the Royal Commonwealth Society Nigeria, Blackson Bayewumi. Glad to have you on the program.
How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Thank you for joining us.
I'm so pleased to be here. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. Also, with me in the studio is an international affairs analyst, Paul Ejime. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Lydia, and good evening, viewers.
Okay, I'll direct my first call to Blackson. Do you think countries that imposed travel bans on Nigeria and some other African countries were too quick in doing so?
Yes, because, don't forget that these countries are our friendly nations. They are countries that we have been having a very good and robust cordial relationship with them. And so I think they should have waited, maybe try to understand, because when they discover when one or two people that are carrier or that have the virus, the new variant of the virus, that does not mean that everybody in the country or everybody traveling out of the country have the virus. So what I think they should have done is to take time. They can impose more measure, they can put more measure and put more restriction. But quick ban is too sudden. So they will have maybe exercise some restraint and rather than complete ban. So that's what I think. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Now, Paul, the UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres has called the travel ban on African countries travel apartheid. How would you react to this?
So I think there was some what people describe as knee-jerk or panicky move, which to some extent, they say once bitten, twice shy. Remember, we have before Omicron, we have had Delta, we have had Beta, and so on and so forth. And then leaders or governments are reacting to the local opinion, public opinion. When those happened, the governments were criticized for not acting promptly, and I thought that necessitated the precipitate travel ban that now visited the Omicron, to the point that it became seen as not only unjust, apartheid or segregative, or one trying to bring segregation and isolate some countries. So I think let science be what should guide politics. Politicians, they want to be populists, and then they try to win the support of nationals. Perhaps when things are not going very well, they want to be seen to be patriotic. I think that was what happened. Instead of allowing science to govern, to drive the control and management of this pandemic.
Okay, thank you. Now, Blackson, despite the Omicron variant being detected in various countries across the world, including the US and across Europe, similar travel bans are yet to be imposed against non-African countries. Why is this so?
Well, I think those countries, they have reasons for imposing their sanctions on Nigeria. Maybe I think maybe they believe in the US and other European countries, maybe they know they have a right data, you know, the data is maybe accurate and they have facilities of managing or containing it. And maybe they believe African countries, maybe we don't have our data, you know, not too accurate, and maybe facilities or people are not being facilitated. So I think maybe that can inform their decision. But as far as I'm concerned, we are friendly nations. All of us are members of the global community. The world is global village, and most of those countries that place ban on some African countries, they should realize that they have their citizens in those countries too. Canadians and South Africa, British and South Africa, they are in South Africa. Canadians are in Nigeria. British citizens are in Nigeria. Saudi Arabia citizens are in Nigeria. So the world is a global village, and I think we should, rather than try to impose ban on any nation, we should come together, make a concerted effort to impose ban on the virus. So we should work together to make sure that rather than start using this as a division among the humanity or among workers, no, we should divide ourselves. This is a problem that is confronting everybody. And we have Nigerian citizens living in UK, we have Nigerian citizens living in Canada and Saudi Arabia. So also we have British citizens living in Nigeria, Canadian citizens living in Nigeria. So it affects everybody. There's no exception. So what I think the world should do is not to segregate or to apartheid that this is Africa. No. We should look at it holistic and look for a collective solution. And every nation can put in a measure because they have to protect their people. We are different countries. We are different in our system of governance. We are different in the health system. But at the same time, they should give consideration to other friendly countries, knowing that this is not caused by the country. It's a pandemic. It's a global issue. I should be looking and be treated as such. Thank you.
Paul, now tell us, what are the effects that the travel ban may or will have on Nigeria?
It's some of them are, you can see, right, quantifiable. Others will take time really to manifest. But striking is the fact that, and I think the British government recognizes that the number of Nigerian students that are either are there or were to travel there, the number is huge. And where is the favorite port of call for many Nigerians? It is Britain and BA, British Airways. If you know the number, the amount, the number of Nigerians it ferries between London and all the airports in Nigeria over in one day, and weeks, and you will know that financially it is huge. But it also has some, both political and economic implications. But I'm glad. One is glad that reason has prevailed. I don't think that it was really thought through, this decision to go. They will tell you, well, the purpose has been achieved, but I don't think so. I think if they had engaged, because that is the issue, you don't sacrifice the good relations that Anglo-Nigerian relations on the altar of, just making populist decision. Because it will get back, at one point, it will hurt the British, because I don't know any other foreign country that knows Nigeria more than the British. They colonized Nigeria, and then the relationship has been, so they shouldn't jump into making this type of decisions that without proper. I know there are issues with Nigerian COVID management in terms of testing, in terms of vaccination. But the irony is also that Nigeria and other developing countries are virtually begging these advanced countries to give them vaccines to go around. You heard about the vaccines expiring after more than a million expiring when they have deposited it in more or less dumped it in Nigeria. So, but that is not to say that Nigeria should not do its bit in terms of management and then managing this pandemic through getting all the protocols together, making sure that the due diligence is there. We don't want to talk about fake vaccination cards or fake testing. No, those are the things that will give wrong signal. So Nigeria should do some house cleaning, and then Britain, in the name of the good relations, should not have gone into this panicky route.
Okay. Now, Blackson, tell us, what are your thoughts about the diplomatic steps Nigeria is taking to resolve the crisis, so to speak?
Nigeria is an independent country. Though we got our independence from British country, we are an independent country, and we are not. So, in diplomacy, I think the federal government of Nigeria, they appreciate for their actions, for the reactions. But I'm so pleased to hear today that the British government is trying to change it. So I think they are changing their decision. I think by 15, because many people are in UK that are planning to come to Nigeria for Christmas. Some people are coming for weddings, some people are coming for families, some people are coming for events. And government has reacted the way they think is best for them. But I think the best issue is for the two countries to engage in consultations. Everything in Commonwealth, we live in consensus. When we take decision, we live in consensus. I think both countries can discuss, they can use their diplomatic means. Although it's a medical challenge, it's a health challenge, but they can use the diplomatics to look at it and resolve it. And I believe, based on the response we are getting from UK, issue will be resolved amicably very soon.
Thank you very much. At this point, we'd like to take a break and listen to the Minister of Aviation, Hadi Sirika, at the latest national briefing by the Presidential Steering Committee on COVID-19. Take a look.
So far, the death has been below 3,000, including the Omicron variant and other variants of this disease. Once they refuse to delist us, we'll come back to the PSC and sit down as a house and decide the next step to take in the interest of our country. There is bilateral air service agreement between Nigeria and UAE as a country. We have followed the normal diplomatic route to continue to engage UAE, to respect the letters and spirit of this document, and there are huge signs that we are getting to resolving this matter, and soon. So, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we have a responsibility as a government to take certain decisions on behalf of the people that are in accordance with the law and that will ensure that our citizens are treated fairly and equally and also enjoy mutual relationships.
You just watched the Minister of Aviation, Hadi Sirika, at the latest national briefing by the Presidential Steering Committee on COVID-19. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, we are focusing on COVID-19 and travel ban. We've been talking via Zoom with Country Director, the Royal Commonwealth Society Nigeria, Blackson Bayewumi, and an International Affairs Analyst, Paul Ejime. Now, let me come to you, Paul. You heard the Minister of Aviation, Hadi Sirika, on what he had to tell us. What would be your reaction to that?
I think the minister was measured in his approach and statement, and that should be the case. To first internalize what is happening and then respond. There's this issue, the semantics between reaction and response. reaction. You don't react, because when you react, you're likely going to make some mistakes. But when you respond, you would have taken some notes, considered, all things considered before you. So he's not, you see that he's not talking about retaliation, he's saying, talking about engagement. And that gives room for you to take a look at yourself, do some reality check whether, listen, am I doing the right thing? And if not, instead of jumping to criticize somebody for taking some action, you put your house in order. So do some house cleaning and then engage. I think that is what diplomatic relations is all about. Even though this one has to do with health, I think, it's a global village, whether in aviation, in health, in politics per
All
se.
interrelated.
I think they are all interrelated.
Thank you. Now, Blackson, recently, members of the Nigerian legislature insisted that the travel ban slammed on Nigeria by the United Kingdom was a wake-up call to fix the country. What are your thoughts?
Thank you very much. We don't need any travel ban to fix our country. This is the only country we have. This is our country. This is our dear country. We don't need any travel ban to fix our country. I would like to use this opportunity to everybody in government, maybe at local government, state government, or federal government, not waiting for any ban or any coercion from any outside forces or any country. They should just make it. They're elected. We hire them to go and represent us. In that, and the assignment, we hire them for that particular number of years to do this. So they don't need to wait for anybody to ask them or to force them or to encourage them. So that's the assignment we give it to them, knowing that this mandate given to them is a particular assignment. So I don't think they don't need to wait for anybody to tell them. That's what they are elected to do, and they should do that. Thank you.
Now, Paul, reports filtering in state that the UK will soon lift its travel ban on Nigeria. Do you think it's as a result of the country's diplomatic efforts?
Of course, it couldn't have been. There are so many channels through which these countries communicate. And I have told you that if there is any foreign nation that understands Nigeria or government, it is the British government. So, but I was saying that perhaps this wasn't really thought through. They would have gone with that diplomatic step before now, instead of putting the cart before the horse. But, because a lot has happened now, some families have either have to cancel their trips or they can't travel anymore. And look at what we are talking about, the irony. You saw the trending video of where some of these, those in quarantine were staying in a hotel. They were virtually axed out. They were in the cold after paying more than 2,000 pounds. Imagine what that is to quarantine. And then there was a fire alarm and everybody was outside. He didn't speak well of Britain. So I think there have been some missteps. There have been some mistakes made by many governments. Remember that this virus had sacked so many ministers and even cost some presidents or leaders from their jobs. So everybody, both high and the mighty, big country, developed countries and developing country. So there is still a learning process. That's why it is called new virus. So let science drive it and politics should take a backseat. And so human relations must continue.
Thank you very much. Blackson, the United Arab Emirates seems to have soft pedaled on its ban on a Nigerian-based airline. Now, giving more slots to that airline, that's what reports just said. What do you think about this?
This is a good business. This is good news for Nigeria because there's a lot of interactions between Nigeria and UAE, and one good turn deserves another. I know Emirates flies from Lagos every day, and I know Emirates flies from Abuja every day to Dubai. And so if I think the other airline too, from the other Abu Dhabi, the one from Abu Dhabi too, do travel to because I think I flew both of them in the past. So if this is done, we give them this opportunity. They should. That's the Emirates. Airpeace is only my airline from Nigeria going to Dubai, going to UAE. So giving us 7, I think it's not even enough. They can even extend it. They can extend it, but it's a welcome development. We welcome this, and we look forward to maybe extension in the near future, maybe to 14 or maybe another airline from Nigeria.
Thank you. Paul, recent statistics from the World Health Organization shows that Nigeria is among the least vaccinated countries in the world. Why is this the case?
Well, the answer is obvious. Nigeria has a very weak health system. Part of it is that you do not have some of the, the infrastructure. You don't have. You'll be wondering why most of Nigerian health workers, many of them are more in even this in England and Europe and America than you have in Nigeria. It says something about the system that needs to be fixed. So there is an issue there. One would not have been surprised if a country like Nigeria could manufacture vaccine. I know there are issues about patents or lifting the rights about patents so that other can. But if Nigeria showed some seriousness in that, and why not? I know that some countries, Egypt, South Africa, and others. But that is the issue. That if you were self-sufficient in vaccines, you don't need to wait for other people to give you, to the point that they are giving you the ones that are expiring in a couple of weeks. And then you are now more than 1 million, according to reports. So the point is that Nigeria does not have enough, probably does not have the capacity to store when it is given. And then that does not speak very well of a country, of the image of Nigeria, the giant of Africa. So I think Nigeria should do more to strengthen its health system and be able to do all those needful to make sure that there are health services are not only affordable but also accessible to citizens.
Okay, Blackson, I'd also like you to react to that question on the issue of vaccinated cases.
I think there's need for more enlightenment. Everybody was afraid about this vaccine initially. So because there are a lot of theories, a lot of paradigm, a lot of ideology around this vaccine. But I think government need to do more engagement. They should collaborate with the civil society, local government. They should do more publicity and enlightenment. So I think by doing this, people will realize the importance of this. They are doing it in the TVs and newspaper, and this, but they should maybe go more. They should do more. They should intensify, because when I heard the news of 1 million vaccine expired, I felt very bad, because I know that will have that's huge in this country. So that means there's a lot of enlightenment to be done. Okay. We need to change our approach, maybe of reaching people. We need to embrace a new strategy and make sure that people. Some people are not yet convinced about this vaccine. They've not changed their mind.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your thoughts. That's it on tonight's edition of Nigeria Today. We want to thank our guests, Country Director, the Royal Commonwealth Society Nigeria, Blackson Olasheni Bayewumi, and we appreciate your thoughts.
Thank you very much.
And International Affairs Analyst Paul Ejime, we're grateful for your insight.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you for your time and expert opinions. We also want to thank our viewers for always keeping a date with us. Don't forget you can watch these and other editions on youtube.com/NTA News 24 Hub. I'm Lydia Ojijiochi. Thanks for your time. Good evening.